Hi, cat. Come and get some mango, baby.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. Self-awareness is a superpower. My name is KathyLaDonna. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. I hope the free thinkers are doing well. And if you are not doing well, I'm happy to remind you that you are the most powerful person that you know. You are the most powerful person that you know because only you can create your reality. So this video is about the new moon in Leo that is happening on July 28th. 2022. Before I get into the video, I have to let you guys know that there are people on Instagram impersonating me. They will follow you, get into your DM and try to sell you a service. It is important that you know that I would never reach out to you on any social media platform and try to sell you anything. So if ever that happens, it's fraudulent and report it if you can. So this video is about 5 things that I would like to share with you when it comes to this new moon. And, you know, when it comes to this new moon, the first thought that came to mind is that magic happens to those who allow it. And I say that because the overall Leo new moon energy, and I'm going to get more into it as I get into the video. So the first thing that I want to share with you when it comes to this new moon is the numerology associated with the day. So the day is the 28th, and the 28th, the number 2 energy is an energy that's cooperative, is collaborative. The number 8 is a system and cycle oriented energy, and it adds up and reduces to the number 1. So just the vibe of the day talks about the individual, but then it also talks about the things that come together to make the individual, which is unifying, putting things in order, and then coming up with a system in order to succeed. And when it comes to, say, the attitude energy of the day, and I like to call the attitude number the approach number, because when it comes to, like, say, the numerology, I feel like it shows how we approach things to a certain extent. So when it comes to the attitude number, that's the day and the month added up together, and that adds up to the number 8. So to me, on this day, we can find ourselves having big time tunnel vision. And, you know, tunnel vision could be great when we're focusing on a project, and, you know, because we're so focused, there's no distraction. So we're able to be efficient and get things done. But the issue with this tunnel vision sometimes is, like, the number 8 is known as an energy that deals with karma. And in certain situations, when people find that there's negative karma associated with this number, I think it's because we're refusing to see the reality of what's going on, because the number 8 could be so focused where it's like, you know, basically having blinders on, where it's like you can't see anything happening around you. You can only see what's in front of you, and only if you place it there. Where it's like the focus is so deep, where to me the focus is almost like so mental, to where it's like the physical thing in front of you is not there type of vibe. And that could be destructive in a lot of situations, because, you know, everyone around us can see that a partner or a situation is not good for us, but we can't see it, and then have to suffer basically learn the hard way. It's like when I think of the number 8 energy, sometimes I think of that saying, a hard head makes a soft ass, or however it's said. And that's because of the focus and the inability to see everything so clearly, what's happening around a person, you know. But like I said, that focus could be good when we're focusing on the right things. So the overall vibe of the day adds up and reduces to the number 5 vibration. And the number 5 talks about sudden and unexpected changes. And sudden and unexpected changes are great, even though they're scary for most of us because we fear the unknown. But sudden and unexpected changes are great because, to me, it gives a reset, a fresh start to something. and a fresh start that we would normally take on our own. And so with some cases, somebody gets fired, and from getting fired, they realize that they've always wanted to start their own business, or a relationship ending and someone realized that they always wanted to travel the world. It's that sudden and unexpected change that release you from, say, an attachment, sets you free to, create and start new things. And the new moon is also at 5 degrees and Vesta is at 5 degrees. So to me, when it comes to this new moon, I could feel that, it might appear to be something that happens sudden and unexpected that inspires the changes that we need in order to create whatever it is that we'll create to bring more peace or adventure to our lives, because when I think about, like, say, the fact that we just had a full moon in Capricorn, and I feel like Capricorn full moons are major for the simple fact that Capricorn energy ties into the 10th house, and the 10th house talks about our legacy, our goals, what are we aspiring to, or how we want to be remembered. And a lot of focus and energy goes into that. And when I think about us as humans, like, goals are important. Like, think about how your life feel when you don't feel like you have something that you're working towards. So with that Capricorn full moon, like, something could have come to an end with that, but that was necessary in order to create the space that's necessary and manifest what this moon will help us to do. So the second thing that I want to talk to you about when it comes to this new moon is that without courage, the change that you seek will never happen, and without courage, the change that you seek will never happen. And why is that? Because we can dream all day, but courage is what pushes us even when we feel afraid. There's nothing wrong with feeling fear. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with feeling fear, but it's recognizing the fear, feeling it, pushing past it, and doing what you need to do anyway. Because with us having a new moon in Leo energy is the energy that talks about courage. Leo energy is the energy that talks about our big heart and us having courage. And I find that for a lot of us, it's easy for us to have courage when it comes to defending and protecting other people. Because one thing Leo energy does not like is to see others being bullied or taken advantage of. So with a lot of us, we might not have the courage to stand up for ourselves. And that could go back to deep-rooted issues where, say, within childhood, some people may have experienced situations where, basically they're constantly being treated a certain way to where it seems that it's natural for them to be treated that way, even out in the world. But then to see it happen to someone else, it's almost like they're innocent and you're not, based on the experiences that a person may have had. So whenever, some of us stand up for ourselves and assert that courage, we might question if we're bad or if we're wrong or did something wrong in asserting that. Where, with the Leo energy, it's going to give you that courage that you need in order to make things happen. And the third thing that I want to talk to you about is that the fact that, we say that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And I truly believe that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. But a lot of people seem unlucky, and it is not that they're unlucky, but they seem unlucky because of the lack of preparation. And to me, when it comes to preparation, like, I'm looking at, say, the Mercury, and Mercury is in Leo also, but it's not in the same house as the sun conjunct the moon, which is the new moon. So with Mercury being so far away from, the sun, which is the king. So the king is the sun, Mercury is the messenger. So on the new moon, it's like, imagine the king and the queen has come together, but the messenger is far away. And of course, if the messenger and the mind is away from the heart and the desire, there could be confusion there. And the mind is very powerful, but the issues come in when we don't properly train our mind. So to me, opportunities are missed because the mind isn't prepared to handle it. And how do we prepare the mind to handle it? By becoming aware of the shadowy aspects of our own mind, by looking around at our lives and see, like, how we're creating things that we don't want, based on how the mind works, because the mind is meant to be a servant. It's the messenger, not the master. So to me, you know, people could seem unlucky because of the lack of preparation. And like I said, the preparation goes back to the mind, preparing the mind by strengthening the mind, by strengthening confidence and courage within ourselves, you know, because the mind is all about wanting to keep us safe. And with the mind's job to keep us safe, like this is where the mind always gravitates to what's familiar. So even though the heart will come up with new ways and guide us in the direction that we need to be in, the mind is always going to bring us back to what feels safe. So it keeps us in this loop like a hamster on a wheel, because time wouldn't exist if if the mind didn't have memory. So because the mind have memory, to me, it just shows that it's like the mind kind of keeps us in a loop where if something doesn't feel like, if something is new or unknown, the mind is going to say, no, we need to stick to what we're used to. And to me, because we're sticking to what we're used to, we're unprepared, you know, and we don't challenge ourselves and prepare ourselves for just life on a whole. And when I say prepare, I don't mean prepare for anything specific. But for me, like throughout the years, like say I have Mercury conjunct my Saturn. So throughout the years, I had to work on communicating and become an effective communicator, in the sense that like I used to, like I think a lot, as you guys could tell. So I think a lot. And a lot of the times when, you know, in the past, I would be having a conversation and I'll think things, but not say exactly all I'm thinking, or say pieces of what I'm thinking, to where people would often be confused, don't understand, or don't even fully listen, you know. And over time, I've challenged myself to be assertive when it comes to communicating and say exactly what I feel and focus on one thought and deliver that thought when I'm communicating, but not just communicate, but also become a better listener and take my time to respond so that I can maneuver in a situation properly, which helps me to be prepared. Where say before, you know, I'm in the presence of someone who's unfamiliar, so maybe I might feel a little bit nervous or whatnot. So because of that nervousness, I shut down and not communicate and assert myself and say what it is that I need to say, or, you know, speak highly about the things that I'm passionate about. Where with that preparation, it's like a person can end up in an opportunity where someone's like, what is it that you do? And from your preparation of, you know, speaking about it, what it is that you do confidently, comfortably, you're able to say, this is what I do, this is what I'm passionate about, and this is my mission, this is my goal. And immediately someone could say, wow, we're on the same page, let's collaborate, let's connect. You know, so a lot of the times we can come amongst people who can change our lives, or we can change each other's lives because we bring so much to the table. But because of the lack of preparation when it comes to communicating effectively, or basically communicating our thoughts clearly and challenging ourselves to do so, we can miss out on opportunities because there's misunderstandings because of the lack of communication. So the fourth thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about when it comes to this new moon is the fact that there's always been issues in the world. But because we are in the age of information comes to us so much faster. So because of that, it seems like the world is going to hell, or whatever people like to say. But like in today's day, it's harder to commit a crime and get away with it like it was back in the day. But of course, with the era of information, like, you know, what happens on YouTube when it comes to even this channel, people can scam and cheat and steal, you know, by conning people, pretending to be other people so much easier. Where back in the day, stealing probably took more effort, where you probably had to actually go out and pick a pocket, where now it's actually easier. So some things have become easier because of communication, and some things, you know, a bit more challenging. But I bring up the communication thing because I look at Mercury again, you know, the planet of communication and the mind is extremely important, and where the mind is and what the mind is doing says a whole lot. So with the new moon bringing, you know, the inspiration to have new ideas, you know, to solve problems and to create more peace and freedom for ourselves. If the mind is distant and again focusing on feeling safe, it'll never allow us to have the courage to move forward and do what needs to be done. But the mind is a part of a T square, and the T square is happening between Uranus conjunct Mars and the North Node in Taurus, and Saturn in Aquarius. So when I look at the T square that Mercury is a part of, my attention goes to, like, say for example, Mars conjunct Uranus and the North Node in Taurus. I look at like the revolutionary changes that's happening when it comes to the education system, the agriculture, the financial system. It's like the world that we know is changing, and purpose, where a lot of us are motivated by purpose, and just us being motivated by purpose with Uranus conjunct Mars and the North Node in Taurus, that alone is changing things. And I look at Saturn in Aquarius, which is freedom. People want their freedom. But when I look at the whole T square vibe going on, it's almost like basically the changes that's happening when it comes to our agriculture, our financial system, and just the world that we know, the overall foundation, those things, that is challenging like freedom and our ability to communicate. So to me, it's like what comes to mind is that saying, it's like, even when your voice shakes, allow yourself to speak and express whatever it is that you have to say. You know what I mean? And also what comes to mind when it comes to this aspect, especially with Mercury and Leo, is when someone might be speaking about someone that's important to them, and I'll look in the comments and someone will say, babies are dying and this is what you choose to talk about. And it's like, yeah, that could be true. But if that's how you feel, the person in the comment making that statement, create your own channel and speak about, the babies dying, and bring the change that you need to bring, because when I look at the T square and it happening with Leo, with Mercury and Leo, to me, Mercury is in a place where it's like, to a certain extent, we want to be focused on ourselves and, like the creative things that excites us and things like that. But at the same time, feel burdened to, or feel like it's wrong to focus on that because there's so much more going on in the world. And I feel like if we really want to change the world or help others, is to be an example, bring more laughter into the world, because it's all about energy, and dwelling and being in a place of fear is only creating more to fear. Where Leo energy is that creative, childlike energy. You know what I'm saying? So that's extremely important. And I also look at like how Mercury and the new moon is positively aspecting Jupiter in Aries. So to me, this is talking about fire and courage. It's like, moving into that wand energy. In the tarot card, the wand energy talks about taking action. So to me, again, like Aries energy is known as a fearless energy, because Aries doesn't think about it. They just do it. You know what I mean? It's like that whole jumping in the pool and then realizing that there's no water in it, or jumping and taking a chance on something, and then something great comes out of it. You know what I mean? But it's like, we sit and we talk ourselves out of things and then go into this place of fear where we're paralyzed in place. Like, that doesn't help us, and it doesn't help anyone. So when I look at the new moon and the positive aspect being made to it, is Jupiter in Aries. So to me, it talks about courage, and just whatever the thing is, the inspiration that you've always wanted to work on, do it. Like, make it happen. Don't waste your time trying to think about like how you can help and save everyone. If you really want to help others, help yourself first, and then be an example and show other people that it's possible. Because that's why I say, like, you're the most powerful person that you know. And you're the most powerful person that you know because only you can create your reality. Like, we can say, oh, I want to change the world, or help the world, or do this or do that. Each individual is basically their own hero, and they have to decide that they want to make things happen for themselves. So it's pointless for us to burden ourselves and think like, I need to help the world. Help yourself and be the best version of you that you could possibly be. And naturally, that'll put you in a more positive and happier vibration and lift the vibration of the planet, because, laughter is contagious. Good vibes is contagious. And the fifth thing that I want to talk to you about is the importance of starting from the root. I look at the opposition that's happening between the new moon and Pluto. And Pluto energy talks about the psychology and the importance of us transforming our psychology in order to change our world. It's like whenever you see a person experience a glow up or a come up or some kind of major change, the change that you see basically is the after effect of the change within their psychology that first happened. So with the opposition happening between the new moon and Pluto, to me, it talks about not wanting to get to the root of one's psychology, not wanting to deal with the darker aspects of life. Because Pluto energy is that dark type energy. To me, that's us dealing with the unpleasant things, where moon conjunct sun, new moon in Leo, new moon in Leo, it's like we want to focus on sunshine, rainbows. And to me, it's the lack of getting into the depth, dealing with the root, that keeps a person stuck. Because to me, when we're aware of our insecurities and our shadow aspects, we can recognize them when they're triggered and push past them, opposed to allow them to catch us off guard and paralyze us in place. So that's why it's extremely important to address the root. You know, address the root. Don't overlook the root when it comes to you wanting to create whatever it is that you want to create for yourself. Because the Capricorn full moon did create some kind of ending, and maybe some didn't allow the ending to happen, because with the Pluto opposing the new moon, it's like wanting to hold on because the mind feels safer with what's familiar. And it's like you can't hold on and receive something at the same time. You have to let go of what's in your hands in order for your hands to be open to receive. So when it comes to this new moon, you know, shadow work is definitely necessary in order to allow yourself to, you know, have the courage that you need to make things happen. Because without doing that shadow work, it's like you feel like you want to make this thing happen, you talk about it, but nothing ever happens, because you know, a person is not aware of how their internal programmings or how their thinking is actually stopping them from progressing. And that's something that like numerology and astrology did for me. Like I was able to see, like, you know, how I get in my own way. And it doesn't happen overnight, but just becoming aware alone changed everything, because from that awareness, I was able to become a better witness. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. Trust me, there's so much still to be done, so much that I'm working on. And it's not perfection that I'm seeking, but I'm seeking peace. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, it's like becoming aware of how I get in my own way. I'm able to witness like moments when I'm triggered, and how I go into this default way of being that keep creating the outcomes that I don't want. So it goes back to like the root, you know, dealing with the shadow of this thing, going through the dark so that you can reach to the light of whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish. You guys, again, it was such a pleasure sharing this with you. If you would like to get your natal chart read, the link is in the description box below. If you haven't signed up to the email, for the newsletter, if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, visit the website. The link is in the description box. Scroll all the way to the bottom and subscribe so you could get the monthly newsletter. I only send out an email once a month, and that's to update you on the overall energies of the month. So if you haven't signed up for that, check that out. Let me know you're here with me by dropping me a red heart in the comment box below. I would love to hear from you. Love yourself as if your life depended on it, because it does. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.